Before being known as the Man of a Thousand Faces, Lon Chaney strapped his legs behind his back and walked on buckets in order to play the double amputee gangster Blizzard in his 1920 film The Penalty, which comes in at 98 on Silent Arrow's Top 100 Silent Movies list. A list that I'm reviewing each film on to determine whether or not they deserve to be known as one of the greatest silent films ever made. This film is so off the wall, it is such a fun joyride. Take, for example, the origin story of Chaney's gangster Blizzard. After being hit by a car, Blizzard is left in critical condition. A young, inexperienced doctor brought in to operate needlessly amputates both of his legs up to the knee. Now grown up and the king of the underworld in seedy San Francisco, Blizzard concocts a grand scheme to get back at the doctor that needlessly amputated his legs. Blizzard gets close with the doctor's daughter in order to manipulate the doctor into amputating the doctor's legs and grafting them onto Blizzard's. When the Federal Secret Service catches wind that Blizzard plans to incite mass riots across the city, they send in one of their best undercover agents, Rose. After infiltrating the gang and coming into Blizzard's close circle, Rose and Blizzard start falling in love. It might sound unbelievable and corny, but actually this romance does a lot to increase the narrative tension, giving us a softer side to Blizzard, and making us wonder whether or not Rose can successfully stop this darker part of Blizzard taking over. Not only is the plot unhinged, but there's some really weird scenes going on. For instance, there's a few scenes of Chaney playing the piano and having his mistresses crawl on the floor and press down on the pedals for him. Absolutely bananas. The unhinged plot of the film is only made believable by the committed performances of Lon Chaney and the rest of the cast. Chaney really runs away with the film, taking every single possibility he has to chew the scenery, and in a good way. He is maniacally evil without being too cartoony. Chaney's performance in The Penalty was lauded by critics and audience alike at the time, and would pave the way for his most iconic roles as Phantom in The Phantom of the Opera and as Quasimodo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. But here in The Penalty, he was able to show that he didn't need all of that transformative makeup in order to make an impression. My only real gripe with this movie is that the ending is a bit of a cop-out. After having all this bizarre, macabre elements throughout the film, it kind of goes for an optimistic, cheesy ending. I understand a lot of audiences in 1920 might not have been ready or willing to accept such a dark tone to end the film, especially since the horror genre was in its infancy at the time, but it's still disappointing to see that the film go for this cop-out ending that doesn't fit with the rest of the previous film. Even with its subpar ending, I do agree with Silent Arrow's film list that it deserves to be known as one of the best 100 silent film movies out there. Because of some of its issues, I do think slotting it in towards the end of the list at 98 is the perfect spot for it. Before you go check out The Penalty, make sure you follow me so you don't miss my next review in this series on one of my personal favorite films of all time, F.W. Murnau's Sunrise, A Song of Two Humans.